right now there are 108 million people who are forcibly displaced by conflict or persecution. But the fact is that the way that we define a refugee now in 2023 is the way that we defined it in 1951, which is really which the refugee definition then was written in the context of the Second World War and displacement. And so the question that we have is, why did you flee for your life? Like, why is your life in danger? Which is the wrong question for us to be asking. If people are fleeing for their lives, that's all that should matter. And we have an obligation to help them if they are fleeing for their life, for sure. But right now, because of this relic that is left over from the early 1950s, we have to say, so what's the purpose of your having fled? And it's got to match with the purpose of the refugee definition for us to protect you. So that's what we try to have to change. And when we're talking about being the change, that's one of the changes that we need to be. And I'd also like to ask Julia, because so much of this, like we're talking about a national issue or a global issue, but so much of this depends on local action, right? We can't get it done without local action. So I'd love to know, like, how is local community important to the work and theme of your art here?
Local community is essentially the backbone of my practice. I do a lot of collaborative practices, as it's called, which includes people, literally conversations with people. But I am actually really interested in what you just said, and this new approach of like how to change things. Because, okay, rewind. Two very important things, I think. Community has power, and I think a lot of the times people forget about that. I like to remind myself that elected officials work for we the people. I think a lot of the times we lose that like perspective of how government works, essentially. And I think it is important to have collective voice when we are doing this. It's like I can do this as an art piece or as an individual. However, the more people behind it, the more we can get leverage to put pressure that it's creating change. However, I'm not a policymaker, but I do believe that including local community or connecting local community to people who are working with policy is very important. This is something that I try to do in the arts advocacy that I do mostly, but that's something that I would love to like take this a step further maybe and get to the point of maybe helping. And you tell me, I'm happy to help if you have ideas of how we can get more people to sign things, petitions, to show up physically. Also, sometimes it's about showing up.